I got the GoPro going this time. I think it seems to be working. All the animals are fed. All the animals are still alive. Coffee's hotter than shit. I actually slept all the way through last night. Crazy. I guess I was due though, right? Now, what am I doing? I am, I basically share information with everybody here as soon as I get it. I don't sit on shit unless I'm told to, which isn't that common. But I'm in no competition, no race with anybody with anything. I really do not give a shit. I am after about people who may be investigating this same topic or doing whatever they're doing and acquiring information. Maybe they got some need to be first or something. I don't know. I haven't a clue. I don't follow the stuff. So what I'm saying is I just want to know why. I want to know why about everything. That's why I'm here and that's why you're here. And I don't, maybe even sometimes I share too quickly. I don't know. But I don't think of that. I don't think of, oh man, I'm not going to share this for a while. Or, oh wow, I'm going to save that for another time. That's, my mind is never there. It says, I get an email, I share it. I get information, I share it. Instantly. I don't even think about it. So, without even being explained, what I'm going to share today, I'm not even certain if this is jumping the gun or not. I don't know, whatever. But I'm going to share an email exchange, basically somewhat of a conversation exchange with our dear friend Edgar. And before I do, I'm just going to explain a couple things. Edgar and his colleagues, these guys are scientists, all right? They are, the credentials of some of these characters are freaking unbelievable to me. I didn't even know that one human being could have all these one credentials in one human being. Edgar's also referred to one of the people who are going to be sharing with us as basically right up there with Einstein or even smarter. Way out of my league. So anyway, I have to leave some people's names out for obvious reasons. These guys are frickin' scientists who deal with international, global, touchy things, topics, items. You know what I mean? So, has he given me the full names? Yep. Ever looked into them? Yep. It's all good. So, as we go, I'm giving you information that I have as I go, conversations that I have as I go, to keep you informed, keep you up to speed, all right? Maybe later on I will take all of the emails from day one and do a full lengthy one video blast so that it's from the beginning to up to date in one video, so it all makes sense and it's easier to follow, because we're talking emails that have come and gone over the course of a year to get to where we are now, okay? So the gist of it is, Edgar and his scientific colleagues, they don't hang out on social media. They don't hang out on the internet. These guys are true scientists. Okay, guys? You imagine what kind of time that takes for these guys to do what they do regularly? And then they have, the majority of them have families as well. So they're not familiar with all of these online places that we are. They just aren't. I mean, you heard Edgar even have to ask me who David Plattis was, right? Or they referred to that dipshit from the BFRO as his name, and they don't even know anything about him or who he is. Well, you're going to get a kick out of one of the paragraphs in this about that topic. But some people might say that it sounds a little fishy that these guys haven't heard of David Plattis or other items on the internet, or haven't been on the internet. But of course they have. It makes sense to me that they haven't, right? I'm starting to babble. These are damn good coffees this morning. Anyway, that's all I'm saying is, it's no surprise that these individuals are not familiar with the online bullshit that we are. They don't have time for it. Thank God. Also, why do I think they are sharing with us here now? I think as one of Edgar's colleagues who's agreeing to share with us, he looked into my channel and he also said that, no, he said, well, it's probably going to be written in here in the email I'm going to share today, but he said that it's obvious that I am not a researcher, that I am a searcher. All right, and there's a big difference there. And is pretty safe to say and easy to see. There's no bullshit here, right? So, almost predictably, these gentlemen around the globe are finally coming around to agreeing to share with us here. Basically, because they have, from what they have said, is they feel it's time. They also don't know why that it's everything. It's such a hush hush secret from the people, and they just agree it's time, and this is the right place to do it. And I think I kind of knew that was going to come as long as we didn't quit, right? As long as we didn't quit, you keep going. You keep going. You focus on the people. You keep going, and you do not entertain bullshit, and you kick the bullshit aside, and you keep going. Right? If you stay on that plane, well, where else is it going to go? The only place it can go is somewhere good. There's no other place it can go, as long as you keep it bullshit free, right? And keep it about the people. There's nowhere else for this to go but good, in a good direction and a good landing in the end. A lot of people, including Edgar's colleagues, have cautioned me to be careful. Watch my back, etc. But you know what, you guys, if you look at it, it's just flat out common sense. What I'm doing, if there is a group of power-mongering control freaks out there who feel that they are the authorities, they will be the authorities on deciding what you will or you will not hear. Well, they're just going to erase me from social media. They're going to erase me from the internet. They're going to come and bang on my door, travel possibly across the border or borders to get to this country and find me and bang on my door, or stalk me in that or stalk me in the forest to threaten me for what I'm going to share on YouTube tomorrow. Right? You got to think common sense. They're not going to dump tens of thousands of dollars into a helicopter to chase me around wherever I go in the woods. That doesn't remotely make sense. They're just going to go get a hold of these social media monsters who are government ran, and they're going to go bink, and they're going to delete all this from the internet. And that's how they're going to stop it. Just like that. Cheap, quick, easy, and efficient. Right? So, are those people watching this channel? 110% they are. 110%. They want to know what we know. They're probably learning from this channel, and they possibly maybe are sitting there ready to, with their finger over the button, ready to go, that's enough. Possibly. And for all you people who do fit that category and you are out there watching me right now, up your ass. Right up your ass. That's what I got to say to you. Now, moving along, back to the people. So, let's carry on. We're going to carry on. I'm going to keep sharing all the information that I receive as I get it. That's probably not that good of a thing, though, because it could possibly get to be sounding confusing, especially to the newcomers who aren't up to speed, right? So that could have been possibly one motivation for me to not share right away. Wait till I get a whole bunch all the way up to the end, string it together, and make one big, long, clear, information-packed video that makes sense. Which I guess I'm going to have to do eventually anyway, right? Because this is starting to carry on. But we're finally in the right direction. We're finally got the attention of the right people. They understand what this channel and all of us are about, and they agree it's time to share what they can. So, I'm still waiting on more emails to come in, and I will keep you up to speed to where I am. All right? We have many people. Anyway, enough babbling. Not babbling. Let's get into it. How I'm going to share this is, excuse me. So I sent Edgar a lengthy email. And what did I do here? I sent him a lengthy email, and what I've done with some people in the past is you change the color of your text, and as you're reading down the email, you inject your answer to the above paragraph in a different color, all the way down. Edgar doesn't really like doing that, but I do, because I feel you don't miss a thing, right? So, let me share what I can from this. If there's names in here there's going to be names in here that I can't share. And it might sound a little awkward as I go, because I'm trying to cover base as I go. So I'm going to change names as I go when I have to, and I'll leave out sentences or paragraphs that just aren't even worthy of sharing right here. Won't make sense. excuse me, because this is basically a conversation that I'm having. All right, I'm going to share with you a conversation that I'm having. So I sent an email, excuse me. What Edgar said, Steve, I normally hate answering by writing comments, but it's really the only way I can sit and type for long enough. I'm sure this will be done in stages over a few days. Apologize in advance. So you got to understand, Edgar's lost 90 frickin' pounds to battling cancer. 90 pounds. He's at home finally. Imagine how exhausted he is. So we can't expect him to go out of his way and sit here for hours and put in a great big huge focused effort. But he's going to do what he can when he can. Totally get it. So I emailed Edgar with, I haven't gone through what I'm going to read or not, so it might be getting a little jumpy, all right? So I said, Edgar, again, absolutely appreciate the time you take to email me/us. Be sure to dedicate your time first to your fight as well as your family. We will sit patiently awaiting any tidbit you decide to generously share here with us. And he also thanked all of us for offering up help. So I said, it's too easy for assistance. If anything unexpected arises, we are here to help. Now, I said on the DNA, please do send results. I have a feeling I know what they will read due to my friend David Pilatus, previously attaining samples and having them researched. So, here's where you can see where it gets red, black. The red is Edgar, the black is me. Okay, so that's why it's going to sound a little confusing, possibly, but Edgar. Little wonder I couldn't find him. I finally did a lookup, and he does a site called Canada Missing, right? When I've done a full catch-up on yours, I'll take a look at this. Blank says he's a genuine guy. Now, I previously chatted, so he has a colleague we'll refer to as Fred. All right? So this is Edgar. I asked Fred how many actual samples containing DNA he has access to, and he enlightened me on how they are collected. Blood only. Apparently, his team set traps everywhere these people, bracket, that is his description by the way, people, are expected to appear. Since 2003, they have garnered 2,877 valid uncontaminated samples, with 3,018 partially contaminated, but retained for the future for use as and when the technology gets better. Most of the valid samples actually came from a syringe withdrawal, done at a distance, obviously, and curiously, Fred says the people don't make a big deal about it. He also adds, they just cannot resist hiding on, in, or close to a tree. Now, the people is the Sasquatch. And then he mentioned the cave systems earlier, and I said, on the cave system, wow, I was previously unaware of the distances. Holy shit. I researched a bit. Some systems go 400 miles plus in Kentucky alone. Vancouver Island as well has numerous cave systems and coincidentally have numerous Sasquatch sightings nearby. Edgar's reply. This shocked the shit out of me when you wrote this. Can you imagine the population of these things that reside in these places? Back to me again. You mentioned we with the DNA samples. Who are we and who pays to have the Sasquatch findings studied? Same for the study of the eyesight, which sounded to be done at a possible nuclear plant? Edgar. Tried to keep this as short as possible. It's a very murky world inside government institutions, especially in the States. This section, now headed since... I wanted to try to keep some dates. Well, whatever. I'm going to change the year. I need to change some things to protect the people who are going to be sharing with us in the future, okay, you guys? And if I leave a few different clues in there, it won't take much for the dark pricks that are listening to seek them out. This section, now headed since 1800 by Fred, is obviously designed as top secret. Not because our people want it that way, but good old Mr. CIA and the others decided it should be that. I'm sure most people aren't aware that not even a president has access to anything decided by the cabal community commonly called the deep state. In recent history, only one POTUS has been permitted full clearance. No surprise that he was former CIA chief, the first President Bush. Apparently, Donald Trump was more than furious on the multiple times he wasn't allowed access to many, many things. Trump made it a pledge to bring an end to this during the course of the second term. If nothing else, this alone was more than enough reason to ensure he was not reelected. We, along with most government agencies, have a black fund. Spending on this is controlled at government/cabinet level. We have no questions asked policy to individuals who elect to study anything work-related or are selected by the cabal, which is mostly outside of government, to carry out research as long as it is aimed at what we can control within the organization. And I said, don't forget, Edgar's injecting in between my writing, all right? Back to me. Were the studies knee-jerked by the numerous sightings at the plants? Edgar, you got nail, hit, and head there, Steve. According to Fred, since the program began to investigate sightings, the knee-jerk was that despite the massive number of sightings, the people, security, who got close up to these things, especially those individuals tasked with trying to capture one alive, get this, often suffered extreme mental and physical injury. Bracket, think of a certain Edgar who never thought it could happen to him. No acknowledgement of illness/injury related. Stupid GoPro. Sucker set us on max video and it keeps shutting off every 8 seconds, and there's lots of room left on the card. Alright, let's try this again. Tell you what, oh yeah, the cameras drive me frickin' insane sometimes. No acknowledgement of illness/injury related to juveniles is allowed. Juveniles is what the scientists use the term juveniles when they refer to the Sasquatch, the Sabe, whatever you want to call them. That's what they're talking about. One more time. No acknowledgement of illness/injury related to juveniles is allowed. You suffer alone. Fred doesn't have strict numbers, but he believes those people who suffered enough to warrant medical discharge approaches, maybe many more, but at least 250 plus individuals since about the year 2000. Now, you show what he just said. That is the amount of people they figure have been discharged from work due to injury from dealing with these frickin' beings. What's up with that? This is me now. The people doing the studies, did they decide to do the studies after seeing the beings numerous times, or were they requested/paid by higher-ups to do the studies? Were they cautioned secrecy? If so, why? And this is Edgar. I can only rely on what Fred and a few others have told me. He was simply handed a file and told to carry out the mission. He was permitted to employ his own team, all from within existing employees within the required experience and also level of clearance. He didn't confirm or deny that his team and he were on quadruple pay for each assignment, plus a bonus at conclusion. This is me. That seems to be a big curiosity of mine. Why can't the public know? Back to Edgar. This, I think, is a cry from anyone subjected to top secret investigations. Nobody knows who even gets the final reports. I'd guess a mix of 3-letter agencies personally. Nobody but nobody is under any illusion what the penalty is for informing the public. Release something naughty and, I think I've said before, losing your job would be the least of your concerns. Secrecy is the special answer to everything, Steve. Why so much of it? 2, attached to seemingly run-of-the-mill information. Why so much of it, 2, attached to seemingly run-of-the-mill information, such as this particular subject? Do you know if anyone is employed on or makes use of government facilities, then dies in or on those facilities? It is not required in record-keeping terms. No specifically made. Oh, sorry, let me read that one more time. Do you know if anyone is employed on or makes use of government facilities, then dies in or on those facilities, it is not required in record-keeping terms. to specifically make the public knowledge? Again, huge why. It makes zero sense to me that secrecy is enforced not just on governments and employees of some big corporations, but us ordinary Joes who do nothing more serious than work for a living. If these creatures were man-hunting, man-eating destroyers of humans, probably the best we'd be told is to take care when you leave your home. Bloody sickening. Now back to me. On your experience, I had a typo. On your experience, have you found any answers to help make sense of it all? Your contacts/colleagues have any helpful input on any of your experience details? Your friend Fred, again, my curiosity, was he previously requested paid to research the Sasquatch by government? Or was he motivated by personal curiosity? Back to Edgar. Excuse me. He's just an ordinary feller, Steve. He's probably got the IQ to better Einstein himself. He's a strange combination of having interests ranging from archaeology to medicine and everything in between. Being given the opportunity to do research into the baffling Sasquatch phenomenon is right up his street. He would do it even if he wasn't given time or the money. He keeps their secrets, but, like everyone, asks the reason why. He speaks little about his secondment to the... I gotta leave that out just for his privacy, sorry. Back to me. I could probably rapid fire endless questions at him, meaning Fred. Edgar replied with, me and you both. I'll have the opportunity to put things to him that I've never dreamt of asking prior to my incident. Sadly, and I'm the first to admit, prior to me pouring my guts out to you, I had no intention of doing anything other than my family, friends, my job, and my retirement. The sheer size of information I've gleaned from your channel, along with the incident itself being answered, brought about a huge awakening to me, and myself, and many, many others. Now back to me. One thing I've noticed of many researchers is it seems common for them to almost be in competition with each other, which causes much secrecy. Be sure to let him know that I'm definitely not a Sasquatch researcher, but more the truth seeker of many different topics. Back to Edgar. Excuse me. I told you about the seminar attended by a so-called expert Sasquatch researcher. The reason Fred called me was to tell me that about 10 minutes into Money Blanker's presentation, 4 out of 12 scientists who bothered to be there started giggling uncontrollably, laughed at one particular answer, and finally walked out, calling Moneymaker an insult to the intelligence of everyone in this room, including yourself. No doubt. The only thing he's ever said about you or your channel, Steve, is for me to tell you to be careful and keep a pair of eyes in the back of your head. Leave with me, and hopefully the next step will be him mailing you and copying me, fingers crossed. Now back to me. I've seen them 3 times, heard them many times. I'm good on proof myself. I'm more curious of the whys when it comes to secrecy, as well our potential safety. The list goes on, LOL. Back to Edgar. What is all the bullshit surrounding proof? Surely at least the people who are subscribed to you have seen the definitive proof in a 67 16mm movie? I bet you and me don't even have to put a name out to it. Excuse me. Back to me. On your last email, I as well keep an interest in current events of all sorts. I came to the realization years ago that mainstream news is both a tool and a weapon of the dark side. It really is frustrating to see and know while witnessing the sheep be herded. The power and influence of the dark side is mind-boggling. I seriously wish I had the men, the finances, and the equipment to flat out rid the earth of the bastards. I wonder if the good guy army is even a slight reality at this stage. Edgar. From where I sit, if the vast majority of decent people are not prepared for a war across the Western world, then they deserve the fate which is fully planned for us by our masters. The elites all got pissed at Trudeau, not because of what he did, but because he jumped the gun 5 years too early. No doubt, he's an uncontrollable little egomaniac piece of shit. Back to me. Sadly, it may be a reality that the only way a true and proper reset could happen would mean a very substantial amount of human death globally, meaning a reset of world governments. Back to Edgar. Just a quickie. I'm certain we're on the same page with this. Tell people, A, go take a look at the inscription on the Georgia stones, paid for by Soros and Schwab. B, take a look at the WEF reset conditions. It's as plain as day. C, have a look at the Kalergi plan, Kalergi plan. D, biggest one of all, the climate change hoax. Just two main members of the scientific community speak truth about it. Astrophysicists / meteorologists. Did you know the main climate proponents stem from the field of biologists and social scientists who haven't a clue about any form of physics? Bullshitters. Another topic we could speak on for days, back to me. Another topic we could speak on for days, no doubt. Edgar, you bet on that. Back to me. Okay, I have to go. I probably forgot much to add, but I will remember to resend again. LOL, be safe, enjoy more than not. Talk soon, Steve. P.S. I do have a locator. And Edgar replied with, now I can tell the missus. LOL, she's sick of me talking about that. Excuse me, you guys. So there you go. That was a email between Edgar and myself that I thought I would share with you to keep you up to speed. Yes, there has been a few other emails since, and there are more. We have a couple other very knowledgeable players that have joined in on our email volleys back and forth. And some of the emails are more from other people going to Edgar through me pertaining to his experience and what happened to him and him being sick and trying to make sense of exactly what happened to him that time when he saw that being standing there, looked at him with rage, and then he lost time. His clothes were arranged on him when he came to. He was way closer to his vehicle by the end of it. And what else? His phone started rapid fire texting him, welcome back to, with about 32, 36 different countries. So the other players we have involved now are emailing him through me to share with him what possibly happened to him. And we're trying to get to the bottom of that. So that's a conversation between them. And those are some of the emails I've received since this one. All right. I hope this email helps you come along and helps you gain more knowledge, and it also helps you see other things for you to look into. Right? Now, what else should I do while I'm here? We're waiting for other people to contact me, and then we're going to start getting going on sharing some incredible knowledge with me and you, and possibly knowledge that we've never ever heard before. Well, I actually think we already hit that level, haven't we? But one thing that I have acquired from these people is many people have come down with cancer and other illnesses after being in contact or standing on the same ground as these beings. And that is a fact. Now, could it be that the human beings who are coming down with these illnesses, is it only with contact from these beings who are nonstop being seen at the nuclear plants? That's a high probability, because I don't think we've heard of any other people coming down with illnesses after being in the same square footage place in the ground where these beings have spent any amount of time previously, and then the humans goes and stands where that being has stood, or stood by their feces or whatever. I don't think we've heard of people say Vancouver Island, where there's no nuclear plants in Vancouver Island. I haven't heard of anybody on Vancouver Island being in contact with these bush people coming down with an illness that I know of. So I have a feeling possibly the people coming down with illnesses after contact with these beings or where they have stood is possibly more condensed to where the nuclear plants and the arms are. possibly. Okay. What else? I also asked Edgar for a brand name of a Geiger counter, which reads radiation, and apparently Fred is going to bring him one to send to me and with instructions on how to use it, and that'll be interesting, right? From what they have shared with us and me so far, is the Geiger counter is possibly quite more important than personal locator for a piece of equipment to have on you. But I can't say for certain if it's across the board. I don't think it is. My gut's saying it isn't. My gut's saying that if you are possibly near forests where there are nuclear energy, then it may be an idea to have a Geiger counter if it's this topic you're interested in and you're intentionally going to where these beings are hanging out or being seen, or you're researching them. It's a possibility, all right? We're going to find out. So how's that for a spiel? Excuse me. So while I'm here, why don't I go to my notes, and as I'm sitting here, before I get outside again and carry on my day, let's get somebody else heard, shall we? All right, this is titled Terminality is Sasquatch. Mark this as read. Mr. Izzo, I don't know if this will help anyone. It did help me and my two sons while we were out hunting. It is possible that this just is a band-aid helping us to continue hunting and keep the fear level controllable. An elephant can weigh from 6,000 to 15,000 pounds depending on the species. A full-grown saltwater crocodile can weigh from 900 to 1,200 pounds. A full-grown polar bear can weigh from 550 to 1,700 pounds. And a full-grown brown bear can weigh from 500 to 1,500 pounds. I have viewed military video of 50 cal round hitting a Taliban fighter in excess of 1,000 yards, and upon impact of the projectile, the body is blown into 3 to 4 large parts. My point is that if we can dispatch such animals with the appropriate caliber weapon, why would such tools available to us fail to be effective on a Sasquatch? Now, I'm not advocating such actions. I have no desire to kill such a being. If being attacked, that is a different story. However, since these beings are so stealthy, quick, and intelligent, it doesn't matter how much firepower an individual may have on their person, i.e. rifle, shotgun, revolvers, or auto pistols, clips, or speed loaders. If the attack doesn't present itself in the format that allows the defender to respond with the accurate and terminal shots in the time frame that would be available in a frontal attack, the Sasquatch's ability to cover 100 yards in a minuscule amount of time, response with the extra firepower would not be possible. Not demeaning such action or of carrying this extra equipment. If it gives you some peace that allows you to enjoy your hunt, so be it. As the above thoughts work to allow myself and my sons to pursue our hunting without undue dread. I do believe in terminal ballistics for anything that swims, flies, walks, or breathes in some form or another. So, while we can be prepared for in our minds anything, it brings to remembrance what my dad said to me. If you go out looking for trouble, you will inevitably find it. So I do believe you are right when out in the bush if we just make it known we're not looking for them, do not want to see them, and don't need the shit scared out of us. It is part of being prepared. My family and myself are American Indians, Chippewa Cree. Growing up, I thought my elders were into too much firewater as a result of the white man's education, as I began to enjoy hunting, fishing, and camping, and having strange things occur in our pursuit of our hobbies. The warnings or stories my grandparents and great-grandparents had told me about began to make sense. Our tribe is not one to talk about the unusual incidents that happen in the mountains, and are very vague when describing encounters. Another reason I thought it was bullshit superstition. I am wary out in the bush and pay attention to my feelings and surroundings. I will turn 70 this year, and the warnings that you and the round table have presented for others to either take or leave is right in line with what the elders shared with the young, even if they like to knock back a few stiff ones before the stories began. Rusty. I don't know if you have any Indian heritage, but you have a good heart and good blood running through your veins. Thanks for the kind words, Rusty. Thank you for your time. Thank you for the share. And Rusty, do us all a favor and share more if you have more, okay? If you can speak with the elder people of your family community and see what kind of information you can extract, you can share, that may help people here, it'd be much, much appreciated, okay? What do you think? I'm just randomly scrolling down. I haven't a clue what I'm about to read when I'm reading it, as usual. What's this one? This shouldn't take too long. I'll read this one more and close after this. And I'm gonna get going. What was that thing in my house? Hi Steve, I sent my story November 1st. Not sure you received it. It has comforted me hearing stories about the red eyes because when I was young, it terrified me and I thought I was going crazy. Here's my story. My name is Karen. I'm now 59 years old, a strong woman in pretty good shape. When I was about 14 years old, around 1978, my father was an officer who worked in security police in the Air Force. We lived in Ellsworth Air Force Base in South Dakota in a large 3-story duplex. Our house consisted of a main floor with the kitchen, formal dining, and living room, basement and family/TV room, laundry room, game room, and a storage area. The second story where our bedroom/bathrooms were. There are stories that there have been UFO incidents on this base. Before I knew this, I enjoyed climbing up on our roof on warm nights and checking out the stars. One of these times, I spotted what I thought was a shooting star that suddenly took a 90-degree turn and continued in that direction. I knew that was not normal and continued to see a couple more shooting stars traveling this way with sudden 90-degree turns. I got a little creeped out and I crawled down off the roof. A few months later, my mother and I were hanging out together in the kitchen. I was probably baking bread, which I liked doing then. I was standing next to the warm stove, keeping my butt warm while the bread was baking. I was facing towards the back door, which was right next to the basement door. My mother was standing right in front of me, facing me, and we were talking and laughing about something and having a good time. In the middle of both of us laughing, I caught a glimpse of something moving just behind my mother. I moved my head slightly to my right to see behind her, and I froze. I couldn't believe what I saw. A hairy creature about 4 feet tall, standing on 2 short legs. And its right, unproportioned, long arm stretched out with its hand/claw-like fingers, on the doorknob. The other arm hung down by its side to its knee, but I couldn't see the knee because of its hair. The creature was covered in long, black, greasy-looking hair. I couldn't see its face as it was covered in hair, but it had 2 vivid, red, glowing eyes, like red lasers, glowing out from underneath the hair. I froze. I realized I saw it. I'm sure by the shock on my face, eyes widening, and my loud scream of terror. I screamed so hard that my throat was later sore. I instinctively shot back away, hitting the stove, covering my eyes with my hands and screaming. At that same instant, the basement door slammed shut so hard, our entire 3-story house shook. Boom! My mom grabbed me, looked at me in shock, then looked behind her at the slammed door in a confused state. She just saw my face go from laughing to screaming in terror and almost fainting on the floor. She wanted to know what happened. I was shaking and crying as she held me up, and I told her I saw it. It had red eyes. It had black hair. That is all I could say because I didn't understand what I saw. It was odd because all I remember was that I was standing in the kitchen, still shaking, trying to stop crying. My mother said nothing. She didn't say it was my imagination or try to talk me out of what I saw. She was suddenly quiet. Turned around, walked away, going upstairs to the bedrooms and leaving me there alone. It was very odd how she acted, but I didn't realize it because I was still in shock and shaking. I've always hated being controlled by fear and forced myself to face my fears. I was standing alone in the kitchen and walked over to the closed basement door. I wanted to see if it was still there. I put my hand on the doorknob, took a deep breath, still shaking. I slowly opened the door, expecting that thing to jump out at me. Nothing was there. I could see the light on the downstairs and I could hear the TV was on. I called downstairs, "Who's down there?" My dad replied as if he had been laughing, "Me." I froze. Was he down there with that thing? Did he know what it was? Did he see that thing? I slowly shut the basement door, went upstairs to my room, and curled up on my bed. My mother never talked with me about the incident after that. It took me a couple days to go back down in the basement, but I forced myself. I also inspected every possible hiding place down there, alone. I kept telling myself, it's afraid of you, it ran from you. I found nothing. What was that thing? Was it a demon? Was it an alien? Was it a juvenile Bigfoot? Whatever it was real. Later I saw a picture that looked kind of like it. The Momo, the Missouri Monster. That is one hell of a creepy frickin' experience. And a lot of questions can be shotgunned at that one, especially your mother. Anyway, all right, we're going to close on that email share. I couldn't imagine having that happen. That's pretty frickin' bizarre, isn't it? Anyway, Karen, thanks for sending that. And again, you've heard me say it every time, keep sending more. You come across any information, anything that'll help the people, send it. Speak out loud about it and share it, all right? Anyway, I got to get outside, even though it's pissing rain. I'll put on my rain gear and complete framing up the rest of the barn roof and getting that roofing on it. And finally get that chunk of it done. Man, it's been taking forever. And I'll be back later on with a whole pile of voices to be heard and knowledge to be shared, all right? All right, here we go.